Do you remember the old saying from when you were younger about what happens when you assume? Today we're going to talk all about assumptions and how you can turn them on their head. I'm Cameron. I spent years building my career and creating a life I loved. And when my Prince Charming finally showed up, he had 4 kids in tow. Fast forward through lots of mistakes made and lessons learned, step-family life was much more complicated than I realized. If you're looking for help with blended family life, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Stepmom Diaries, where we keep it real as we dish about all the things. This is your weekly dose of blended family inspiration and encouragement. You're not the wicked stepmother, so let me help you find your fairy tale ending. Come on, let's do this. Hey there and welcome. I took last week off for Memorial Day and I hope you had a nice holiday, a nice long weekend, start to the summer, whatever you were doing. And today, if you hear any background noises like birds, I am sitting in Maine with no air conditioning and all the windows open, and I had to turn the fan off because it's like all this background noise. And of course, it's the middle of a heat wave in early June. So here we are. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. And today I want to talk a little bit about assumptions, which may not seem like a logical topic for stepmoms, or at least maybe not even in the top 10 list of things that you're worried about as a stepmom. But hear me out here. The last time I had a disagreement with my husband, Craig, when we talked it out, we both realized we had made some assumptions about what the other was thinking and why we were each reacting how we were. And that if those assumptions had not been in place, we probably wouldn't have had that fight in the first place. And so the more I started to think about that and that misunderstanding, the more I realized that as stepmoms, our lives are really full of assumptions. Think about it. There are all the assumptions that are made about us, right? And they come from inside and outside our families. You know, society makes a lot of assumptions about stepmoms. That we're wicked, thanks Disney, or that we are the other woman, which I'm sorry is so outdated. And I'm sure there are situations where that's the case, but frankly, it's just an old stereotype. The assumption that we're trying to replace our stepchildren's biological mom, the assumption that we hate our stepkids and are just trying to, move them out of the picture so we can have our spouse to ourselves. You name it, most of the assumptions that are out there about us are not super flattering. And most of them are not true either. But as frustrating as all of those can be, that's actually not what we're going to talk about today. I know those assumptions aren't true, and so do you. And we'll have lots of other discussions about debunking some of those things. But today, we're going to talk about the assumptions that we make as stepmoms, because there are a lot of those too. So I'm going to start and go back to my best and my favorite piece of advice ever. And I'm going to talk about how we can deal directly with what happens when we make assumptions. So here's the piece of advice, and you've heard me say it before, and I am sure I'll say it again. We cannot control what other people do. We can't control what they think, how they treat us, how they talk about us, or anything that they do. What we can control is us, how we react, how we view others, and how we interact with the world around us, which includes the assumptions we make. We make assumptions every day, not just related to our stepfamilies. When someone cuts us off in traffic, we probably throw a couple of 4-letter words at them. I actually use the term jackhole. Thank you, Andy Cohen. But in all seriousness, we probably don't think about what may be going on in that person's life. Maybe they're rushing to an urgent medical appointment, or maybe they had a really bad morning because they found out something, some bad news. Now, you could say that nothing justifies them acting like a jackhole on the road, and that may be true. But if we stop for a minute and just think about the fact that they may be dealing with something really hard, maybe it helps our reaction to them, right? So going on with the driving analogy, how many times do you hear about traffic accidents because of road rage? Well, If one of the parties could check their reaction, maybe it would lower the temperature on the whole situation. Or think about another analogy. If a checkout clerk is super rude, you may assume they're just a jerk, and you might just be a jerk back to them because they're not being nice to you. You may not have seen that the 3 people in front of you were total jerks to them, and maybe they're just having a terrible, awful, no good, terrible day. I think I said terrible twice there. Factors that if we had known, if we had seen people treating them badly for the previous half hour before we showed up in line, maybe we would have reacted differently to them being a jerk to us. Maybe we would have had some empathy for them. It's so easy to jump to the worst conclusions about people. When was the last time you jumped to a terrible conclusion about someone? I bet it was recently, because I know I catch myself doing it pretty often. But in our stepmom lives, assumptions can get us in trouble too, right? For example, if your stepchild calls you names, won't engage with you, or is just rude to you, it's really tempting to just think, what the heck is wrong with them? Somebody should teach them some manners. That's not how you treat people. They must not have been raised right. Thank goodness I'm here. Or you may just be upset at the thought that they hate you and wonder what you've done wrong. And your reaction, based on either of those assumptions, could end up escalating things. Instead, what if you could look at their behavior and have some empathy? If your first thought was, gosh, they must be going through some stuff. Maybe they're having a hard time with the family dynamic. Or I wonder if school was tough today. That would help de-escalate the situation, right? Same thing with their biological mom. Now look, that may be a more difficult situation. She may be a total jerk. She may actually hate you. But she might also just be taking some things going on with her out on you. She may hate what you represent. Her fears of the kids preferring you over her. And yes, that is a fear sometimes with biological moms. Her feelings about her ex having moved on. All of that may be tough for her to deal with. It may not be you at all. Hey stepmom, do you wish you could unlock the secret to handling all that blended family life throws at you? Let's be real, every family's different and has its own struggles. But if you give me 6 weeks, I will give you the tools you need to love your stepmom life. In just 6 weeks, I will help you learn to deal with your partner's ex with confidence, to understand your role as a stepmom, to learn what it is your stepchildren are really looking for and how to communicate with them, to know that you and your partner are on the same page, and to reduce your daily stress and reclaim time for yourself. The Blended Family Formula is a one-of-a-kind course just for stepmoms, designed to help you learn the skills and the strategies to confidently tackle all of your stepmom challenges. You deserve to live out your purpose as a stepmom, and the people who depend on you deserve to get you at your best. If you are a stepmom wondering how to overcome the overwhelm as you feel like you're failing just a little bit at everything, or if you feel guilty for wanting more, this is an opportunity that I promise you will not want to miss. Head over to thiscustomlife.com/BFF to get on the waitlist now. The point is, if we can think about all the assumptions that we make about what other people are thinking or why they're acting the way they are, these are assumptions that we really have no way of knowing are true, right? As I've said, I've had this happen with Craig on more than one occasion. There'll be times that he says something to me in maybe, the wrong tone, completely unintentional, and I'll assume some wild fact that is nowhere near the truth about his feelings. And then it takes a huge fight to get to the bottom of it and realize that I made a really stupid assumption. And vice versa. I don't know, has that happened to you? I'm betting it probably has. How great would it be if we could just short circuit those fights, or the hurt feelings, or the drama? Well, if we can tackle some of our assumptions and kind of reframe how we approach things, we might be able to. So what I want to suggest is to take your assumptions and turn them on their head. Flip the script, as they say. Instead of jumping to a conclusion, turn it into a question. So instead of thinking, gosh, what a jerk, maybe think, I wonder what's going on here. Asking yourself to pause and think about what might actually be causing the abrupt behavior, the rude comment, the sideways look, whatever it is. Giving someone the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's take the example with your stepchild. If they talk back to you and storm off disrespectfully, maybe they are hurling some nasty words your way, instead of following them and yelling at them for how they're treating you, or asking your spouse to go and tell them what's what, ask yourself, I wonder what's going on here, because chances are it's not you at all. Or if it is about you, it may be a misconception that they have about you. It may be that they've been manipulated at the other house. It may be that they're upset at the larger stepfamily dynamic. Now, to be clear, you may not actually figure out what's going on. And there may actually be times where your stepkid is just being a jerk, or that your spouse's ex is just being nasty, right? But if you can take that pause, instead of jumping to the worst case conclusion, it'll give a chance for everyone to cool down, and it'll put you in more of a mindset of empathy for them instead of immediately feeling offended or angry. And that can take the situation down a notch. Reframing it will also help you get into a more positive mindset overall. It'll help you look at things through a lens of optimism instead of through that kind of negative lens. And again, what I care about is you and how you're feeling in all these circumstances. I am not telling you to excuse bad behavior. I'm not telling you to excuse people who truly have bad intentions. But I am saying that, if you can kind of flip the script on this a little bit, it'll help you get in a better mindset and help you be a little more positive, right? Now, I want to clarify one other thing. None of this means you have to just absorb nasty behavior or tolerate disrespect from anyone. You don't. And if you've got a situation where nasty actions or deliberate, hurtful things are being directed your way on the regular, you need to set up some boundaries. What I'm talking about is just how you handle the difficult situations and how you can take control of your behavior. Because at the end of the day, that's what you can control. You. Coming to peace with that and working on your reactions and your actions will put you in a better mindset to deal with any challenge that comes your way. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Stepmom Diaries so you don't miss a single episode. Bye for now. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed our chat, I hope you'll help spread the word. Share this episode with friends and head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave me a review. And don't forget, for more great stepmom content, head on over to thiscustomlife.com and follow me on social media. Just search This Custom Life on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Until next time, you keep being you and know that we are in this together. See you here next week.